Of all the coincidences! You will hardly believe it, but I was just this very moment reminiscing of the time you lent me your strength a 12-month past. You see, I again find myself in pressing need of an adventurer's aid, just as I did last rising. Oh, if only Connecatine were here, I thought to myself. And here you are. Well then, what do you say? Shall we clasp arms once more? My thanks. The matter is this. I have been approached by a lady named Ayoyo who wishes to imprint her own inimitable mark upon the skies above Limsa Lominsa. I speak, of course, of the fireworks that illumine these rising nights. Learning of my contribution to previous year's festivities, she has enlisted me to her cause. We already have the ear of the organizing committee. However, Lady Ayoyo has expressed a strong desire to consult with a storied adventurer before finalizing her proposal. Come to the Yellow Jackets guardhouse at the base of the Coral Tower, and I will introduce you.
Just toss him to the sharks.
Lady Ayoyo, one-storied adventurer, as promised.
Blessings of the 12 upon ye. Name's Ayoyo, Cannoneer First Class with the Yellow Jackets. It's an honor to have you on board.
Did I mention that it is the Yellow Jackets who are in charge of this year's festivities? Not only in decorating of these fair Lominson streets, but in designing and constructing the fireworks that brighten the skies above them. Lady Ayoyo here is quite the savant in all matters incendiary and explosive, and so it has fallen to her to formulate a plan for the display's crowning glory.
Me and the other lads and lassies of the Cannoneers whipped up a load of lubberly little drakes, snakes, and devils for the Moonfire Fair, but more of the same ain't going to cut it for the risin'. 'Cause it's all about remembering those we lost in the calamity, ain't it? Them and theirs deserve something a mite specialer than a bunch of old bangers.
An admirable sentiment, I'm sure. It would not do for our ode to such poignant memories to be aught less than memorable. Let us make this year's rising one that the citizens of this fair realm will not soon forget.
Took the words right out of me mouth, dearie. Thing is, haven't hardly set foot out of Limsa in all me days. I don't reckon I'm best placed to know what's going through the minds of the citizens of this fair realm.
And so you would pick an adventurer's brains, one who has journeyed far and wide across this land we love and knows it and its people intimately. Yet before we call upon your particular wisdom, mayhap it would behoove us to seek out a wider range of opinions. Many and more look to the skies come rising night, and the thoughts that run through their minds are no doubt as diverse. Let us learn them.
Sounds like a plan. Mind if I join you, dearie? Could do with learning some of these thoughts myself. Right then, where's best to start asking around? Someplace a lot of outsiders gather, I reckon. How about we meet in the Aetheryte Plaza, down in the lower decks?
While you two are so engaged, allow me to continue our discussions with the organizing committee. I shall await you by the aft castle.
You see them lights down Auker's Alley, dearie? Decorations for the festival they are. Every year when the streets are all decked out for the Rising, me art fills with, well, all kinds of feelings. Sorrow, pride, regret. But enough about me. We came here to find out how the other folks feel about it. Let's split up, head down the alley, and ask a few likely-looking customers each. We're on a schedule here, so don't go asking every single soul you see. 4 or 5 should do you. I'll meet you down by the ferry docks when you're done.
Welcome, welcome. What may I interest you in this fine evening? Ah, information, is it? Well, if you really must know, the whizzing and banging that fills the air this season always takes me back to the time just before the calamity struck. A great festival was held to celebrate the reformation of the grand companies. People in the streets were hooting and hollering and setting off fire spouts, and all the ships in the bay, now bedecked in maelstrom colors, let loose their cannons. It seems so foolish now, knowing what was soon to befall us, but all that noise served a purpose nonetheless, drowning out the fear that ever whispered in our ears. It is my firm belief that the rising fireworks serve the same purpose even now. They present a vision of loveliness, of togetherness, that we might forget our fears and be given hope for a brighter future.
The streets are full of life, the sky's full of fire, and the westerly winds fill in our seafarers' sails as it does our arts. Ah, I couldn't have picked a better time to come home. You a sailor too, are you? Helping with the fireworks, you say? Good on you, lass. Aye, I've a few memories of back then, if you've an ear to hear 'em. I'm a merchant seaman, you see, always sailing hither and thither across the waves. Was just back from a trip to Radzat when the calamity struck. Everyone was looking up to the sky, and that loathsome lantern that hung low in it. Like most folk, I don't remember much of what happened in the days before or after it fell, but I'll never forget those faces. And that's what I love so much about the fireworks. You see the same faces looking up, but this time with a smile. Reminds you not only of the bad times, but how we got over them.
All right there. Anything I can do for you? You're asking for people's thoughts on the rising fireworks? Heh. Would have thought a great hero like you would have better things to do with your time. But I suppose that's what makes you a hero, eh? Helping people out whichever way you can. Well, I'm like most people, I suppose. I think of those I lost. My parents, most of all. I wonder if they're watching too. Swum up from the bottom of the ethereal sea to see what all the crashing and banging's about. It's complicated, I suppose. I feel sad they're gone, but happy I'm not, and grateful to Bateron saving me and so many others. If they are watching, I hope they can see me too. See that I'm doing all right for myself, that they might sleep soundly for another 12 months. Can you see them too, my love? You're involved with the fireworks and want to know what I think of them? Well, just now I was wondering if they can be seen from far out in the offing. Do you know? I see. The reason I ask is that my husband is out there now. He meant to be back by rising night, but it seems the tide didn't turn in his favor. He was so looking forward to the fireworks. I do hope that he can see them from where he is, that we can share them together, no matter how far apart we might be. That is my only request to you, that you make the finale as bright and boisterous as you can, that all those who cannot be together this rising might still share in its message. Sorry to keep you waiting, dearie. So, what did you find out? Same here. Was half expecting him to just like looking at the pretty lights, but it seems the feeling runs a lot deeper than that. The The memories of the calamity still sit heavy on their hearts, but the rise and fireworks go some way to lifting that weight. So, any ideas for the grand display? What kind of thing do you reckon to help lift those spirits the most? Hope for the future, eh? That ain't a bad idea. Reminding folk that however dark the night, dawn is just around the corner. The Rising ain't just about mourning those we lost, after all. It's about remembering the struggles of those who survived to steer us to a brighter future. Aye, that's it. That's what Limson needs this reason. Ships, cannons, a departure salute, not just for the fallen, but for those setting sail for unknown shores, a vision of the past and of the future. An old bleeding armada filling Galadian Bay, lighting up the very Evans. Who wouldn't want to watch that? That's settled then. The minstrel's going to love it. He said he'd be up by the aft castle, right? I'll see you there.
Our intrepid adventurer returns, and positively bursting with inspiration, I take it. I see. A traditional seafaring salute, not only to the memories of the fallen, but to the future fortune of those who follow in their wake. A most fitting proposal, I'm sure.
Thanks, the both of ye, but our work ain't done yet. There's a lot needs sorting out before we can put this idea into action. So much to do, so little time. If you wouldn't mind helping us a little longer, dearie, I'd be forever in your debt. Let me know when you've got your loins good and girded. Right then, let's get started, shall we, dearie? The plan is, we're going to line up an old fleet of ships across the bay and have them fire a broadside into the sky. But before we go about finding our fleet, we need to get the plan approved by the organizing committee, and that means convincing Commodore Rayner. I'll take the lead, but I ain't exactly got the silverest tongue, nor much experience nobbling with the higher-ups. If you two see me struggling, put in a word, won't ye?
Of course, milady, your cause is ours.
Thank you, me dears. Together then, to the Coral Tower. Commodore Rayner worked his way up the ranks, all the way from rock bottom to the tippity top. He knows the workings of the thalassocracy in and out, so any flaws in our proposal, and he'll see right through 'em.
Last I had the privilege of meeting with the Commodore was around the time of the Calamity. I had been arrested for conspiracy to incite rebellion. Naturally, it was all a misunderstanding. Some other scurrilous soul had been singing songs of sedition. If not for Rayner and his relentless pursuit of the truth, I might still be lingering in the brig. He is a shrewd investigator who will brook no equivocation. Shall we then? Wanting to make the Rising display special, I can fathom, but the sheer scale of this proposal is beyond anything I imagined. Ayoyo, need I remind you that the first duty of the Yellow Jackets is the keeping of the peace? Filling the bay with ships will not only disturb the daily workings of the harbor, but is sure to foment agitation among the commons. Knowing this, do you still mean to persevere with this outlandish plan?
I do, Commander. Every Laminsan art, every Eorzean art still bears the scars of the Calamity. All that loss, that hardship, that struggle, IT cut deep. But the Rising ain't just about looking to the past, it's about looking to the future too. And if it's our duty to watch over folk, keep 'em on the straight and narrow, like, I reckon it's our duty to see 'em off on another year's journey too.
Well put. I accept that your intentions are pure, but what of the logistics? I trust you have a plan as to who exactly will be providing and paying for this fleet of yours.
Yes, Commander. We're going to petition the Maelstrom for the flagship, and the rest from the Black Sails.
Of course. One is wont to forget that those buccaneering souls remain bound to serve the Maelstrom in times of necessity. Lady Ayoyo would have us parley with the three great pirate captains and remind them of their civic duty... It seems.
Aye, that's right. The pirates answered the Admiral's call back when the moon was fallen, fought and died at Cartano, same as the rest of us. When they hear about our plan to salute all those who fell, and all those who didn't, I don't doubt they'll answer the call again.
I wish you all the luck in the world in recruiting those rogues to your cause. You shall need it. Very well then, allow me to arrange the parley. Should you succeed in this feat, you may consider all of my remaining doubts answered. I bid you remember that you go to speak with pirates, lawless marauders all. Pray that you do not say aught to offend them, lest we find ourselves with a mutiny on our hands. I shall have the Maelstrom summon the leaders of the three factions to the anchor yard. Pray, go there and complete your preparations.
Cheers for sticking with me, you two. I hope I can count on your support in the next set of negotiations and all.
Of course, my lady. Alas, I fear the captains, those far-famed scourges of the seas, will prove rather less biddable partners than Commodore Rayner did. While Roswin of the Sanguine Sirens may be swayed by emotion, Carvalane of the Kraken's Arms is of a much more mercenary mind. The executioners, meanwhile, value honor and glory above all else. If there is aught that unites them, it is a zealous spirit. Let us argue with passion that we might inflame theirs.
If it's passion you're after, I've got that in bleeding bucket loads. But I might need you two to jump in again, case me tongue decides to tie itself in an aff itch. Just say the first thing that comes into your heads, and I'll pick up after. Come on then, dearies. Let's head on over to the anchor yard and get this parley started. Thanks for coming. The reason we asked ye here is...
Aye, the Maelstrom summons laid it out for us loud and clear. You want us to help you with the Ryzen fireworks. And the answer's no. When my sirens fire a broadside, it's to send our enemies to the bottom of the briny, not to paint pretty pictures in the sky for drylanders to gawp at. We've better things to be doing with our time.
'Tis a rare occurrence to be sure, but I find that my opinion aligns with Roswin's. Our time is precious, as I am sure is yours. Let us hasten to draw these discussions to a close. I shall put it bluntly. I see no profit in this endeavor for myself and my men. So unless there is anything else, if you should require my men and I to shackle ourselves to the sirens, we should require even greater recompense.
The sheer scale of the spectacle we propose would no doubt draw all the lords and ladies of the realm to gather in the city, personages of high renown and deep pockets.
Aye, and if they saw you lot workin' and in and with the Maelstrom, it'd do wonders for your public image. Folks who normally wouldn't touch a pirate with a barge pole would be queuing up to do business with you.
I do believe you have a point, poorly phrased though it might be. To win legitimate business, one must project the image of a legitimate businessman.
Sod your image, and sod anyone who's too lily-livered to trade with us. They can stick their barge poles up their backsides. What's in it for the sirens? What are you trying to imply? I'd rather cut me arse off with a rusty cutlass than have to spend another minute in that preen and pissant's company. Me and my girls are proper pirates.
The sanguine sirens ain't all about the piratin' life, though, are ya? You run almshouses for the sick and injured, and those with child. Keep 'emselves busy with odd jobs such as come their way. Them's your hunters, and the folk who are drawn to the city to see the grand display your quarry.
I see where you're going with this. Get the girls to set up stalls selling food and grog and the like, and they'd make a killin', providing they had all the right permits from the Yellow Jackets. You're a shrewd one, you. Maybe I could lend a man and meself. They do say the best way to a man's heart is through his stoma.
What of the executioners? There is no dishonor in linking arms with Admiral Merlwib and the Maelstrom, surely.
You, Yellow Jacket, I want you to tell me one thing and tell it true. This is Limsa Lominsa, the greatest port in all the realm. Ye could find this fleet of years without our help, yet you've come here begging for it. Why?
Because I reckon you're the ones who need the risin' most. The black sails only came together 'cause of Cartano. You could have upped anchor and sailed off into the sunset, but no. You fought like demons on those cursed flats, made heroes of yourselves and martyrs. The way I see it, it's only right that those that lost the most, when they stood to gain the least, should be the ones to fire the salute to the departed. And a salute to the departin', too. The calamity changed the lives of you pirates more'n anyone. If anyone should be celebrating new beginnin's, it's those whose new beginnin's already begun.
So it's all for our own good, is it? I'm heading back to the Astalicia. Send word when you've hammered out the details of this display of yours. We'll see what we can do.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Can't rightly say no to you now, can I? We lost a lot of good people back in Cartano. Let's send them all off with a bloody great bang.
I will join you on one condition, that in your reminiscence of trauma past you do not make a shameful spectacle of yourself. pray, do not force me to restrain you. Again.
I never forced you to do nothing. You'll keep your hands off me if you want to keep 'em, you randy bastard.
Quite the fragile flower, isn't she? Well then, I bid you adieu. My ships will not ready themselves.
My hearty congratulations to both of you. It was my honor to play a supporting part, but it was your passion for the rising that swayed them.
And ... BRE the... Gods, I was so nervous I could hardly speak. Thanks so much for chipping in when you did. Could have never have got him on our side without ye. Right then. Time to put the finishing touches to this plan of mine. It's going to be wonderful, I just know it. Oh, and about your reward, I've given it to the minstrel. You can grab it from him. To new beginnings, lass, and may the navigator's breath ever fill your sails.
You did a great service, my friend, both for Lady Ayoyo and for all those who love the rising, myself included. For that I shall be ever grateful. I expect it shall be still some hours before preparations for the grand finale are complete. Mayhap we could wait together? While we wait, would you care to hear a verse that has lately come to me? It is a song of celebration, of encouragement for all those who sail for unknown shores. Pray, lend me your ears.
Greetings, warrior of light. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not.
It's a pleasure to meet you again. As I have in the past, I have beckoned you here that I might express my gratitude. The road we have walked has been long and winding, full of perils and pitfalls, but we have enjoyed every step in your company. We hope that you feel the same about this last great leap. With every adventure we undertake, the longer the legacy we leave behind us. Yet, a lengthy history need not mean a foreshortened future. Many adventures yet await. We shall continue to chart a course into the great unknown, one that takes in all the diverse wonders this wide world has to offer, that your legacy might grow ever greater. To be certain, it would be a less trying task to sleepwalk ever onward down the same well-furrowed path, yet to venture down paths untrodden, believing in the bright and glorious future that lies beyond them, is by far the more rewarding. This is the gift that we wish to deliver unto you, the gift of adventure. And we pray with all our hearts that you will continue to walk with us. We thank you for joining us on this journey, heretofore and hereafter. Now the time has come for this vision to end. Time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. One cannot know what fills the hearts and minds of those who look to the sky this rising night. Perhaps you and I will see very different images in those explosions of light and color. But one thing I know for certain, that right here, right now, we look to the same sky. And though the paths that lay ahead of us may lead in very different directions, sometime, someplace, they shall cross again.
"'Tis almost time for the display to begin, the consummation not only of our labors, but of the thoughts and prayers of the people of this fair city. A salute for the departed, and for those who set sail into unknown waters. Many adventures yet await you, my friend. May the navigator's breath ever fill your sails." From eastern sea to eastern sky, the sacred sun ascends, and voices stir, of wind, of waves, of ropes, of sails, of friends, who like the golden light of dawn that streams across the sea, set sunlit sail for foreign lands, may fortune follow thee. Her journey done, so sinks the sun below the western waves, and memories stir of friends of yore asleep in watery graves. Let not our voices raised in song disturb your endless sleep, but join us in our chorus, and you dream among the deep. An excerpt from an ancient mariner's song. A prayer for the safe return of those who sail o'er the far horizon, and for the peace of those who sleep beneath those same eternal waves. It concludes with a wish that the voices of those whose spirits are stirred in anticipation of new adventure reach the ears of those whose adventures ended too soon, that they might be united as one. A fitting sentiment for the rising, methinks. so I offer you my own heartfelt wish that even should your adventures carry you beyond the far-flung horizon of this wide world, we should meet once more in a 12 months' time and look up to the same sky together.
You have unlocked the toy chest. Open the toy chest found in any inn room to play mini-games. Additionally, certain notable personages have been seen to frequent the anchor yard this rising. Do the same, and you may be greeted with an unexpected encounter.
Many and more have come from far afield to enjoy the festive atmosphere of Limsa Lominsa this rising. Now that your work is done, be sure to bask in it yourself.
A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see...
If it ain't me old pal Connecatine. Here to beg the old bird for guidance too, are you? Stodgeby said you had an hand in this year's fireworks. And not a bad job you made of them, neither. You met Stodgeby down in Hawker's Alley, aye? I sent her to pick up some stock for the winch. But do you know what she brought me back? Only a bottle of bleeding Bacchus. Paid for it out of her own pocket, she did. To thank me again for saving her life. Don't know why she's so hung up about it. The girl's paid me back 100 times over with all her hard work over the years. Felt a bit bad accepting it like, but, well, a bottle of Bacchus is a bottle of Bacchus. Reckon it's you we should be thanking anyway for that marvelous display. All the ships in the harbor, the fire in the sky, it brought back a lot of memories. Some good, some bad, but every one of them well worth remembering. And we ain't done making them yet. You'll be off on your next adventure soon enough, I wager. Well, you can't rightly be striding out on an empty stomach now, can you? Come up to the winch and we'll fill your belly.
A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see...
Well, I come to feel Limlane's breath on me face. only to find the faithless besom whispering in the ear of another. How have you been keeping, Kanekatine? I hear we've got you to thank for the rising display. A yo-yo's been singing your praises from Fisherman's Bottom to the Coral Tower. What? Surprised I know her? Limsa's a small place, lass. Hardly a day goes by I don't see a yellow jacket or several in the Bismarck, whether it's to sup on the finest food and wine this side of the sea, or to clap the irons on those who've tapped the casks a touch too thirstily. Suppose an adventurer like you mightn't have noticed, always coming and going as ye are, but stick around in the city for a while and you'll see. The jackets ain't just axes for ire, they're true friends of the common folk. A yo-yo was a retainer before the calamity struck, you know. Her master had a thing for fireworks. Every time they came back from their wanderings, they'd load her down with 100 weight of spouts and spinners they'd picked up from God's know where. Day and night you'd see her down in the market ward, beaming that sunny smile of hers at every passerby, trying her damnedest to flog the stuff. Enjoyed the work, I reckon, but then Dalamud fell and she lost her master. Literally lost them. The way she tells it, it were as if the calamity burned an hole in her memory and they fell straight through. Couldn't remember their face nor their name. But she never forgot the fireworks. The amount of gunpowder that went through her hands over the years, she couldn't help learning a bit about making things go bang. An apprenticeship with the cannoneers later, and she was a yellow jacket. So when I heard they were the ones who'd been put in charge of the rising display, I knew she'd be first to volunteer. The rising, the fireworks, they mean a lot to her. And as a friend, they mean a lot to me. So thank you.
A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see...
Kanekatine, this is a coincidence. Raynor was just telling me of the role you played in putting the display together. I'm sure all those who gathered in my city to witness it were as moved as I. A salute to all those who set sail for new adventures. It shall surely resound in their hearts and give them strength and courage in the year to come. And a salute to the fallen, too, was it not? Many and more lost their lives on the fields of Carteneau, the men and women of the Black Sails chief among them. I thank you for giving those who survived them this chance to put their grief to more productive ends. I thank you for giving the celebrations an unmistakable touch of salt, too. This year's rising was not merely in Limsa Lominsa, but of her. I look forward to seeing how future host cities follow our example. But for now, let us focus on the present. I'm sure I have kept you from your business for far too long already, and I must return to mine. I must offer my prayer to Limlane and be on my way. Fare you well, Kanekatine. I wish you safe voyages for the year to come. May the navigator's breath ever fill your sails.
A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see.
If it isn't my old mate Kanekotine, I heard you had a hand in the fireworks, but I thought you'd be long gone by now. I'm glad you stuck around, though. Gives me a chance to thank you. For getting the executioners involved, like. Can't say you didn't run us ragged, getting the whole fleet loaded up with 10 tons of fire sand and ready to sail at a moment's notice. But it was well worth it in the end. There's nothing a pirate enjoys more than a bit of the old pyrotechnics. The perfect send-off for shipmates past and present. Even got me in the guts, so it did. Most risins I spend at the bottom of a flagon, thinking of those we lost and salting my grog. But this salute's only gone and put the wind in my sails. I'm up an anchor tomorrow in search of an island sanctuary of me own. Somewhere to bury me booty. Wish me luck, Kanekotine, and may Limlane's breath ever blow at your back.
A soft westerly wind blows across the anchor yard. You hear footsteps approaching. You turn and see.
I knew it was you. I could tell it from your bearing. Forgive me. It gladdens me that our paths should cross again, of course, and yet I find myself somewhat lost for words. Are you, well? What brings you here? Is that so? I should have known it. It is very much like you to help others fulfill their dreams, to bring life and light to the world. I always liked festivals, as did all my brethren. Though the celebrations have taken diverse forms over the years, all brought smiles to the faces of our children, and in turn, us. Though it was our custom, nay our duty, to watch over you from the phantom realm, one among us was so drawn to the music and the merrymaking that he adopted a mortal form, that he might join you in your revelry. In every festival is imbued the hopes and dreams of mortal man. You implore the gods to listen to your pleas, and they hear you. They still do. Till next our paths should cross.
Ook, ook, ook!